The Islanders have a 5-2-3 record to start the season, but one win in their last 3 games. Chill, everybody. They have a chance to catch a dub tonight against the Minnesota Wild out in the Island. Let's talk all things Isles with New York Post Sports Islanders beat writer Ethan Sears. My man, long time no see. How you feeling, bro?
I'm good, Brandon. Thanks so much for having me on. How you been?
Dad duties, but that's been keeping me up. But let's talk about these Islanders, man. Only 2 regulation losses so far this season. What have been your biggest takeaways from this team 10 games in?
Well, the first is that they've probably been a little bit on the lucky side to only have 2 regulation losses. We knew that the Islanders would be relying heavily on their goaltending, and that's been great. Ilya Sorokin has been great. Semyon Varlamov has been great. But the defense in front of them just hasn't really been good enough. They gave up 48 shots the other night to the Hurricanes, spent most of the game in their own end. That's not the first time that that's happened, and it's not really a sustainable way to try to win games. So that would be the biggest thing. And then otherwise, I would say, the second line has been probably their best offensive weapon. Brock Nelson has it going. Kyle Palmieri has it going. Pierre Engvall has picked up where he left off last season. That's one of the biggest sort of, positive revelations for them so far.
All right, so there's question marks surrounding the defense, and there's also question marks on tonight's lineup due to injuries. So what's the latest on Bo Horvat and Adam Pelech?
Well, both of them were called day-to-day by Lane Lambert this morning. Neither of them ruled out for tonight as of yet. I think there's a pretty good chance that we'll see Pelech. He practiced yesterday. He skated this morning. Those are obviously good indications that he'll be in. Horvat did not do either of those things, wasn't on the ice yesterday, wasn't on the ice today. Maybe we'll see him in warm-up. Maybe he'll kind of test it out. Seems like a left ankle for him. But obviously those aren't good signs for his chances of playing.
All right, well, tonight the Minnesota Wild are on the island at UBS. The last game for both of these teams were pretty much a similar story with different outcomes. The Owls gave up a 3-goal lead and lost in OT to the Hurricanes, and the Wild came back down 3 and beat the Rangers in a shootout. So how can this team not only start strong against the Wild, but not let their foot off the gas as well?
Well, having Pelech back would be pretty big in that regard, not just because he's one of their best defensive players, but because it would really be the first time since opening night that they would have had their top 6 D-men all playing. So that would help them maybe sort out some of the defensive issues and maybe help them sort of equalize those minutes a little more. Some of those guys have been taxed when Scott Mayfield was hurt and then when Pelech was hurt. And that's a big part of the reason that they've struggled in the third is because their D had been playing so much that they've just tired out. So I think, sort of more spread out, fewer minutes for those guys can maybe lead to some better results later in games.
All right, let's see if they can get that dub tonight at UBS Arena against the Minnesota Wild. Ethan Sears, thanks for hopping on, my man.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me, Brandon.